Hey y'all, Blue here.
Guess what?
Layer 2 has finally dropped after over a year since the game's release. Lots of things have been added in this expansion update. More things than we know at the moment since things still have yet to be uncovered. So since information is quite limited and I don't have any friends to go figure out said information, I thought about making a video on a change that no one is really focusing on, which are these dummy stupid trades. At first I didn't understand them in a previous video talking about them, based on the information from the threads. But now I feel pretty stupid seeing how simple they are. If you don't understand, every level you receive a special hand, which are these traits. The same 4 will show every time and they work in continuous upgrades from 1 to 6, which is the max amount you can have on a single one. By the time you max out a build, you should have about 12, which should create a lot of variation around builds, with a different number of combinations you can have. Determining which upgrades depends largely on your build. If you're a non-attunement, maybe you want to invest into proficiency and vitality since you wouldn't use mantras that much. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you're an ice monkey using a hero blade, you would want to put a lot into song chant to maximize your damage output. Although if I had to choose which trait is the best, I would no doubt 100% on jaw say it's arudin. And when I say arudin, I mean go to arudin 4. But I know what you're thinking. Are you a fucking idiot? To that I say, I don't know, could be. But no, you gotta hear me out. All right, 2 words.
Infinite moves.
Infinito moveres? Yes, you heard me right. First, let's talk about arudin. As it says here, increase your max ether. And the dumb stuff no one really cares about. How much ether is this increase, you ask? About 40, and that's a lot of ether. The build you've seen this whole entire video has arudin 4. 4 times 40, that's 160. Which, with everything else, makes up 310 ether on this build. Or about doubles my total ether from what it would be if I did not have it. Man, that's nothing. I had a frost draw monkey with way more than that. Why would that much ether even be good now, you say? This goes on to my next point, which was the deletion of Reservoir. At first, I was pretty skeptical about it getting the boot at the game, with my initial thought being that you couldn't use as much mantras anymore. Man, I could not be further from the truth. I'm going to explain this all in one big analogy, and I'll also make something visually as well, so follow along. Imagine your reservoir as a sack full of nut, and your ether is a cup of nut. Each time you use ether with the mantra or anything else, you consume nut from your cup. Once you swallow all the nut from your cup, you get more from the sack to put in your cup to consume. Although once you consume all the nut from the sack, your nut regen, or your ether regen, begins to slow down. That's basically how the old system used to work in a nutshell. But this new system cuts off your sack, leaving you with a cup of nut and your mouth. Where would I get the nut from, I'm assuming you said? To that I also say, I don't know. But the main takeaway is that your nut flow does not slow down because there is no sack to be emptied from, leaving the new system with a steady supply of nut flow for you to consume. Got it? Good. Wait, what was the main point? Now I got nut on my mind, bro. Alright, because of this change, you continuously regen ether at the same rate always. Meaning you can just shoot out moves at an insane rate. Watch me literally use every move I have. Only being slowed down by the cooldown. Granted, I have Prophet's Cloak on, but my ether is barely going under half. If you still are not sold on arudin, I have one last point, and that's engage. And I don't even need to say anything, just watch this clip and watch my ether bar.
In conclusion,
don't sleep on arudin. And please do subscribe and like if you found this video entertaining or just a good video in general. Also, please watch my last video. I spent so much time on it only for it to get like nothing. Please just watch it. Just give it a watch.